All right, welcome back to another episode of the Sports Department Podcast with Justin Valentovic, Jesse Norman, and Stephen Clark. It sounds so much better to say that,
it does, right?
But we are back to break down super duper Wildcard Wednesday of the NFL season. Can't wait till next year till they add another word to it when there's 8 games, but who knows? But we're here. The playoffs are here. First round, baby. Wildcard weekend.
Oh yeah, super. Sounds like
super.
We're all here. We do the wrestling podcast on the sports department. Make sure to check that out. But it sounds like something like that would happen in like the wrestling world, like a name like that. Super Wild Card.
Exactly. Super Showdown, Super Stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Stars.
Super 205 Live. I don't know. But like I said, the playoffs are finally here. So this is where the nitty gritty of football actually matters. It's January.
And the fun part here, all three of us, our teams are in the playoffs.
Exactly.
Might
Only
not be
one
for long.
person's team from this podcast didn't make the playoffs.
Sadly,
Oh.
Joe.
It was going to be process of elimination. One of them had to. One of them had to in the East.
You're right. You're right. Almost all of us.
But the
majority
team
of
without
us.
a name prevails, and basically a team without a quarterback also. But let's just get right into it. Normally bounce around to each game, but there's only 6 this weekend, so there's no point. So let's just go right through in order. We'll start with the Saturday games, then we'll go through all of them, all 3 of them, and then move into Sunday, go through them, and then we're done. This will be a pretty short one for once for football. But let's start off Saturday, 105. The Indianapolis Colts are going all the way up to Buffalo. Last time they played there, it was a blizzard, and it was a disaster for the Colts. They lost to LaShawn McCoy. LaShawn McCoy. There we go.
McCoy.
There we go. For some reason, that name just didn't sound right saying it, but new quarterbacks, new teams, new completely everything. How are we feeling about this game? Bills 13-3. Josh Allen looks phenomenal going against the run-heavy Colts. Colts are built for the weather up in
They're
Buffalo.
built for the weather for sure. But so is Josh Allen's legs because he doesn't just stay in the pocket. He can extend a play very, very well. Diggs is questionable for Buffalo, so that's a little question mark for that. I think Cole Beasley might be too, but Allen's going to make it happen no matter what. I think the only one who Colts is out is Buckner right now. Your nice Buckner jersey in the back. He's questionable
he's a little questionable with the ankle, but that's been lingering.
Yeah.
And the injury report is the same as what it has been basically all season, where he doesn't practice Monday, limit on Wednesday, and then we'll see what he does on Friday. But also, he doesn't really need practice.
I really, really want the Colts to prove me wrong here, but if I'm going with my head, but Buffalo win here. They're just on fire right now. It's just they're besides the Ravens, they're like the hottest team in the AFC right now. They've just been steamrolling over everybody.
The problem that I have here, looking from as unbiased as humanly possible,
yeah,
it'll come down to, will Phillip Rivers make the oh God throw, and when does he do it, and how catastrophic is it?
And it's more of will the Colts win the game or will the Colts lose the game? Like it's not if will Buffalo win. It's if the Colts will lose the game. I think.
And it's built to where the Colts are built for, typical Buffalo with a run-heavy team and defense. But also the weather report for this game is supposed to be, 40s to 30s. And the Bills, we saw they are a pass-happy team because Josh Allen is a great quarterback and Stephon Diggs is an even better receiver. It'll really come down to, can the Colts keep up with the fast-paced offense of the Bills? And I really don't think they are.
No.
Yeah, I don't think they can keep up with the Bills. That was kind of where I was going to go. Didn't expect Justin to take it there. But
I can be unbiased when I want to be. And this is one of the times.
The run-happy offense of the Colts is very good, and it's a really good running offense. But when you're running into just, I would say, the most prolific passing offense that we've seen this year, since the Chiefs have, coasted so hard, the Bills have really been the best offense I think that we've seen in football consistently throughout the year. And as good as the Colts defense is, I would like them to have, another significant pass rusher, I think, to put the pressure on Josh Allen. I think they're a little light in the pass rush because as great as Buck is, he's the only one that's really consistently gets through the line.
He's the only Grover
and that's
Stewart
a good Bills offensive line.
And Grover Stewart, he's a good D tackle. Justin Houston, he's still a good edge rusher. But it goes off of how Buck is going. And if Buck is getting in, then everyone else is. But if he's not getting in there, the pressure isn't really there. And even
if the pressure gets there, Josh Allen's quick enough to just run outside the pocket and extend the play so
It's
fantastically.
amazing how night and day it is between these two quarterbacks. The minute the pocket collapses for the Colts,
Yeah.
Phil's dead, the play's done. Bills, you
It's
got
done,
Josh Allen
yeah.
run to the sideline and Stephon Diggs just streaking down the field for a bomb. And the biggest part is, too, the Colts' biggest weakness on their defense is their secondary and primarily their corners.
Yeah. And that's
And-
just
And
That's the problem.
Buffalo had a top 3 passing offense and a top 2 scoring offense. In the NFL.
exactly. So I want the Colts to
So-
prove me wrong very much so. I wish they do. But if I'm smart, if I'm going with my head with all these picks, I'm going with Buffalo.
Yeah,
I think Buffalo, and I don't know if it's necessarily that close.
The way
think
I see it
Buffalo's hot,
happening,
and they can score a lot in a quarter.
that's the thing. They can put up points fast. And the problem with the Colts we've seen for a long period of time this season is they go off to a hot start in the first half and then just turn it off in the second half. And then they're up like 20 points. But they feel like they're playing from behind a lot of times. And if the Colts get deep in a hole, they're not coming back out of it. So ultimately, I think the Bills are going to run away with it because the only way the Colts keep this game in winnable scenarios, they have to keep it close. I don't think they'll be able to do that.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, on to
Alright,
the
let's
next
see.
game. So, Clark, you want to introduce the 440 Saturday
I
game?
would love to, because this is probably my favorite game of the entire weekend. Just
it
because of
really?
how evenly matched up it is.
I got a
Yeah,
better
I
game
think so.
on
Either this
Sunday.
one or
that
Baltimore, Tennessee. Either
I got-
this one or Baltimore, Tennessee. I would say
I think the Baltimore Tennessee game is the most appealing.
it is.
It
but
would
I
have
think
been
these
it would
two
have
are
been
the most even,
Cleveland
I'd say.
Steelers if Cleveland had an entire coaching staff, but they don't.
That doesn't matter.
But we'll get back to
Anyways.
that game. So
We have the Rams traveling to the division champions, the Seattle Seahawks. A divisional game in the playoffs. It's always close. It can go either way. Divisional game. This is their third time playing each other this year. Did they split the series or did the Rams take both? I know the Seahawks might have taken both actually. Or they might have split. I don't know. I'm looking it up right now. This is the research I should have been doing before.
who researches anything?
Yeah, you're right. Oh, they split the series. Wow, fun. So this is the
It's the rubber
tiebreaker.
match.
they are Seahawks. Yeah, they killed the Rams in the last one. And honestly, I just like what the Seahawks are doing. I like this betting. We're not betting in this podcast, but I wouldn't bet against Russell Wilson in the playoffs. He is usually pretty darn good. I like the Seahawks in general. I just like them as a whole. I don't know. So really toss up this one, honestly.
It comes down to
Well, Jared Goff is officially out.
Is
That
he?
has been decided.
that's
today.
official. Last
He
time
is
I saw he was
officially out.
I saw he
That's
was questionable
On
last
the
time.
injury report, that came out, Michael Brockers is out as of January 5th. Mekhi Kaiser is out as of January 6th. Jared Goff is out as of January 7th.
Well,
I
that
don't
changes a
believe
lot.
they can change that.
That changes a lot.
No,
though.
I think once you're
I mean,
You
if
can
once
only-
you're out.
Yeah, it's
You
2
can only
days before.
go-
Once you're listed as out, you're out.
Yeah, you can
probable can be changed, but out is out.
Yeah,
Probable,
it's-
questionable, and doubtful can be changed.
Yeah, but
But
out is
out.
you're out.
Yeah, never mind. All Seahawks. Then they don't stand
Well,
a shot.
that's the thing. The John Wolford experience, let's call it, that he wasn't terrible, but you could see why he was a backup, but also he wasn't that great of a backup
Yes. And
So-
it's also a backup in a playoff game. It's not
against
a regular season
Seattle,
game
which, their defense hasn't been great this year.
no.
But we were just talking about, can Phil Rivers keep pace with the Bills? Can John Wolford keep pace with the Seahawks?
I
Zero
I-
chance of that happening.
wouldn't
Well,
count on it. I wouldn't
The
count on it.
Seahawks, but the Seahawks offense is going to have to actually play.
Yeah, they'll actually
That's the
try.
thing.
Because
Their
they were going
offense
against a
has been-
formidable
Their
defense.
offense hasn't. Yes. But one thing that Seattle really has going for themselves, this is in Seattle. They were 7-1 at home. Like 4 of their losses, 3 of them came on the road. They're a really good home team. I think if Goff is there, you can maybe have an argument, but I don't think there's a possible way that Seattle drops this game.
I agree. I 100%
Yeah,
agree.
there's no way this game should. And if Seattle chokes this somehow, there's got to be some reevaluation big
So now,
time in
the-
Seattle.
This is back-to-back years now that the Seahawks are going against basically a backup quarterback in the wild card round because Wentz went down last year. And
Was that the Josh McCown game?
Yes, it was.
Oh,
Yes, that was
Josh
last
McCown
year
was better than
in
Wentz in
Philly.
that game.
Because
I agree.
Josh,
You're right, and that's why I don't want Carson Wentz
Just
on the
wanted to
Colts.
let
That's a
that be
story for
known.
another day. But yeah, Seattle here. for
Yeah,
sure.
I'm going with Seattle. Big time. So
Yeah.
Jesse,
Yeah, big time.
talk about the primetime game then on
that
the old Sunday night.
That 8 o'clock or Saturday night. You want me to go Sunday?
No, Saturday. You'll get the Sunday game. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
you will.
Okay, I was gonna say, well, you said Sunday.
No, you'll get Sunday
Um,
also.
Tampa Bay against the Washington football team.
Someone had to win it. And
now
it was
This
Washington.
is a perfect 1:00 game. Perfect 1:00.
Yeah, and
game.
you know why?
yeah, but they
Yeah.
made
Brady.
well, it's Brady. It's Brady
Exactly,
in
it's
prime
Brady.
time. Yeah, this is
Just,
this
yeah.
has the potential to get ugly. Alex Smith is questionable, so that's
Tyler Henneke.
that
Is it
makes
Taylor
it a
Henneke
little
or
bit
Tyler?
closer.
Or is it-
Doesn't
What's Henneke's
matter.
I
first?
think it's Tyler.
Tyler?
It doesn't matter if Alex Smith plays or not.
Doesn't matter. Alex Smith.
Actually, it does.
Doesn't matter. If
I think
Alex
it
Smith
does.
plays.
I think
I don't know. Ugh.
You think the football team win if they have Alex Smith?
Antonio Gibson is
think-
also questionable, so I think he'll
okay.
play.
Oh, okay, that doesn't help. But if they had Alex Smith and they have McLaurin and they have Gibson, and if Chase Young, who said he wants the GOAT, he's coming for the GOAT. If the D line gets there, and we all know the best way to beat Brady is hit him around and smack him around a few times, I would give them a puncher's chance if they have Alex Smith. If they don't, all bets are off.
Yeah, you're right. If they do get to Brady, it usually is good
What's
for them.
the-
But
is there
the
any
Bucks have
update
a
on
really
Mike
good
Evans?
line too.
Is there any update on Mike Evans?
Mike Evans is listed as questionable.
Okay, so he might.
They
play.
have 40 other receivers that they have on that
Yeah,
roster
true.
they can put in his
40
spot.
different like Pro Bowl
Yeah.
receivers.
Literally. But that O line is really good for Tampa Bay. Even if they does get through a couple times, I don't think they're really going to get too much pressure on them just because of how good it is. And then Tom just has to sit in the pocket, throw little 5 to 20-yard passes, call it a day. Defense does its job against Alex Smith, maybe Alex Smith, and Tampa walks away easy with this one.
I think
Yeah,
I think this is the upset.
I
of the week.
think Tampa walks away with this.
This
one.
is the upset.
I think
Ooh.
this would be the upset.
Okay,
I think this.
okay.
I think we always get one
I mean,
to
I
two
think if
upsets.
there's one, I think it would be this.
I think because okay, the record is what it is. Like it's not a good record at
Yeah.
all for Washington. But we also
It's
said
like
on the
it's
last
what
podcast.
Bruce Arians said though. When they're with Alex Smith, they're not 7-9. They're 4-1.
Exactly. So if they have Alex Smith, which I think he's gonna will his way as best as he can to play, and we saw it last week. He tried to play and he did, and they won. You know, with some help, a lot of help from Doug Peterson.
Huh.
But
Yeah.
my gut says Washington, so I'm going with Washington. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm going with Tampa Bay, baby.
I think Tampa wins, but I don't think I think Tampa could make this ugly. They could. I don't think they will. And if there was going to be an upset, I think it would be this one. But I do think Tampa pulls it out. Tampa also good away team, 6-2 away. I mean
Very
this
good
because
away.
this is in Washington,
are
so
they
they
having
are
and
a
I
any,
very
believe-
good away team.
are they having any
Washington's
fans
not a
fans?
great home team.
I think minimal fans. I'm
Okay,
pretty sure.
It's probably like family and
So I
friends.
remember
actually.
Probably family friends, I think, because I
On the-
remember just Alex Smith's wife being there when his return and all that in,
Yeah.
in the stands.
Yeah, that's true.
But I know Buffalo has fans. That's the game that we first
you-
when we talked
did
about.
you
for the
see they
first
signed
time.
it?
Buffalo has fans. The tickets are going for. I just seen on ESPN. You could find tickets for $10,600.
To think I texted Justin like 2 weeks ago saying we could play Buffalo. Let's go out to Buffalo.
No.
Yeah, I'm not paying 10K to lose in Buffalo.
Did you see going back to the Buffalo with fans? Did you see Andrew Cuomo, the governor? He was
They don't
gonna
want him
go
to-
to the game,
They
and
don't
then
want him
then
to-
40,000 people signed a petition for him not to come, and that they didn't want him there.
That's so funny.
So he
That's
gave his
funny.
ticket to a
That's
frontline
hilarious.
nurse. Which is
And
good.
I think Seattle has no fans either. So that was the other game we talked about.
Yeah,
But,
we'll talk
I
about
would
another-
I would bet Seattle doesn't. Not in Washington.
And we'll talk
Yeah.
about a crackpot theory for one team to try to get fans in a stadium. So when we get to that game, we'll definitely hit on it. But we're shifting over to the Sunday window, and these games are pretty good for the most part, 2 out of 3. Minus the 4:00 window because I don't like that game at all.
The
But
Nickelodeon game.
the main game, yeah, and it is a joke. The main game at 1:00 is Ravens Titans, and quite frankly, this should have been the Saturday game, primetime game. because you have the Ravens, who are quite frankly the hottest team in football, going against the Tennessee Titans, who just got Derrick Henry 2,000 yards last week. This could be the shootout of the week, I think, just because the Titans' defense is terrible.
If you
Flat
had to
and
pick
simple.
an over in total running yards in this game,
Oh, there's going to be so
whatever
many.
the over is, hammer that.
could
I know
this
we're not
could
betting on
easily-
this, but
This could
hammer
easily
those.
be the quickest football game like ever. Just the clock just won't stop.
Yeah, because Derrick Henry is running the ball. Lamar, all he does is run the ball.
J.K.
But
Dobbins.
This is a good revenge game, I think, for Lamar Jackson, because we know the thing with Lamar is that he cannot get it done in the playoffs for the most part, and the Titans did beat them last year in the playoffs. So, but the Titans are home, which is a big factor because I believe they do have some fans out there in Tennessee. But if I had to pick a team here to get the job done, who's been on fire recently and almost didn't win the game on a game-winning doink, I'm going with the Ravens. I'm going with the Ravens here. I really like what they've been doing over the last couple of weeks or so.
The Ravens are just so dangerous.
Yeah. I
Like
don't think they'll go far. Baltimore, I think they might get out in the next round, or if they're lucky, they'll make it to the AFC Championship, but they're going to win it here.
The thing with the Ravens is just since basically the Colts game, if we're being honest, that was the get-right game for them. They've been unstoppable. Lamar has gotten back to MVP-esque form. Not quite there because, that's a tall order, to try to fill.
In the locker room.
But he's just been on fire and unstoppable. And just the Ravens' defense is just so much better than the Titans. The Titans have no form of a pass rush. And if they have no pass rush, how are they going to try to get to Lamar? And that means he could just scramble and have all the time to throw. And when Lamar has time, he's a very good passer.
Yeah.
I don't know about this one.
What are you feeling?
I don't think the Ravens are as good as everybody thinks they are. Quite frankly, I mean, yeah, they're coming in hot. Do you know the teams they beat? Dallas, Cleveland was the best one, Jacksonville, the New York Giants, and then the Bengals.
Right.
I mean, yeah, they're hot, but you take away that stretch, they lost to Pittsburgh, lost to Tennessee, lost to New England, beat the Colts, and lost to Pittsburgh the week before that. When they've played good teams, they've lost for the most part. They haven't beaten that many good teams. That's also because they haven't played that many good teams. But if there is a team that has the formula to beat Lamar Jackson, it's Tennessee. And we already seen that last year, where if Lamar gets down early, if they're not leading even after the first quarter, all the numbers say they aren't going to win. And you know who is the best at getting a lead and grinding it out? Derrick Henry and the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, the Ravens, Jesse, what you brought up a good point. The Ravens are a terrible team to have to come back from behind. They just struggle.
They're statistically one of like the worst.
Yeah, they struggle big time.
A really bad percentage.
That's why I feel like this is going to be a shootout, though, because the Titans have no defense, and the Ravens just want to play fast football, so they're going to try to score as much as they can. And we saw the game against the Texans. In the last seconds, a bomb to A.J. Brown, puts them in field goal range, so they can move the ball in the air a lot better than you would think with Ryan Tannehill.
Not bad.
Yeah, well, and I think Baltimore doesn't move the ball in the air as well, at all. I mean, you look at Lamar Jackson's number, his highest passing was 275, and that was the first game of the season. Yeah. Other than that, he hasn't hit over 250 once.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
that's just because
they haven't asked him to.
Well, that's the thing. They've been controlling the ball in the ground game.
And if they can't do that against Tennessee, or if Tennessee is beating them in that, and you're asking me to bet on Lamar Jackson's arm, I can't do it. I can't. Give me Tennessee in that respect. I think I'm going to take the Titans outright to win.
I'm taking Baltimore.
I'm the tiebreaker then, and I'm torn big time. So give me the Titans.
Lone wolf in this one, and I'm okay with that.
All right. So Clark.
Oh baby.
Introduce the next game.
Live on Nickelodeon this Sunday afternoon. we have the game of the century that we want all the little kids to see to become fans of football. We have Mitch Trubisky leading the Bears into New Orleans against, I think, Drew Brees. I'm pretty sure he's playing Drew Brees and the Saints.
Yeah, Breeze is good.
Golly, Bears barely snuck into this playoffs. This should be the Cardinals and the Saints, but it's not. What are you gonna do? That's just the way it happens. Mitch went on a tear the last little bit of the season when they started playing him again, but I really don't see them getting anything going against the Saints. Saints are just too good. They're an
even
NFC
though
championship caliber team.
Even though it's in the dome and there's no fans,
Yeah,
the Bears are gonna. The Bears all season though they can't move the ball at all.
And they're about to go up against a really good defense.
that's the thing. Mitch is gonna have to compete with Drew like touchdown for touchdown if they want to stay.
He won't be able to keep up. But also, did you see Sean Payton's crackpot theory of how to get a full dome?
Yeah, quarantine a bunch of fans at one time.
He wants to quarantine and test 50,000 Saint fans every day leading up to this game and keep them all sequestered in a hotel and then put them in the stadium.
If I was a diehard,
For the
I would
game.
like to see. I would like to see how much that would cost the NFL to do, and then how much they would have to charge each fan per ticket to break even or make money on that.
Yeah, it'd be impossible.
it'd be basically.
It's
I think people would do it. I think people would do it
Oh,
if it
people
wasn't
absolutely
if
would,
it wasn't
especially
like
since
super expensive. I think they'd do it.
If it was for a
Listen.
Colts game, I would do it honestly. If the Colts lived about
would.
45 minutes away instead of 6 hours or 8 hours away, I'd do
10
it.
hours.
How many?
They're 10.
10.
Yeah.
I still have to get out.
Oh,
there
but
one
you'd have to be out of work for that long. There's
Unless
You're
you
taking
work from
double hits
home,
then at that. You're
then you can
taking
just
double hits at that
time.
point.
Set up your office in your hotel room if you work
But
from
let's
home.
get back to this game.
Anyways, yeah.
little
That's
bit.
true.
Um,
That's true.
I think the consensus.
The Saints
here
are gonna win.
is the Saints.
Yeah, they're going to give the ball to Kamara and let him do basically what he does, which is just make plays and get downfield and disguise the aging, old, decrepit arm of Drew Brees. That's basically going to be this game plan.
I wouldn't be surprised though if the Bears
mean-
come out to a little bit of a lead and just then after that, but that's it. I have a feeling they might come out hot just because they want to prove a point that they just snuck into the playoffs. But Saints are going to win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, the Bears are not a good.
They're not
team.
good. I think they're the
They-
worst playoff team.
They have
100%.
by far yes. Oh yeah. If you take out the NFC East, which by the way, if Washington didn't win the NFC East and the New York Giants won, the point differential for the Giants was minus 77. For every other playoff team, it's not even close. The Bears is a +2 on the whole year. Like by comparison, the Saints are a +145, Bucks are 137, Packers are 140, Seahawks are 88. Even looking at the Cardinals are a +43, and they didn't make it. The Dolphins are a +66, and then you see this, and it's just, wow, they're really not good. And then you hear about the defense and how the defense is so good. Their scoring defense is worse than the Saints. The Saints allow less points than the Bears. So there's no possible way. There's no route for Chicago, I think, to win this game. Even if Drew Brees is knocked out of the game and Taysom Hill comes in, and Taysom Hill is knocked out of the game, and Jameis Winston comes in, I still think the Saints win.
Yeah,
no
the
matter
Saints,
what.
the Saints.
I don't
this
think
is their
there's a
game
way the
win.
Bears win.
And if they lose, it's going to be catastrophic. Simple as that. There's no way the Saints lose. And finally, the final game, Jesse, have at it.
All right. The team who cannot be coached because there's no coach present, the Cleveland Browns, against the
Do you
team
think it'll be
who
like,
almost beat them last week with the JV team, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
You know, it'd be amazing if they had like from Community when they had the felons on the iPads like roaming around. They put Stefanski on the sideline on one of those.
They do that with like the Make-A-Wish kids
Oh.
too and all that stuff with the Colts. I know too. Like they have like
Yeah,
they put like
Make
the
it happen,
iPad and
NFL.
have a jersey on the guys and all that. And
yeah. Put a little headset on it.
Yeah, they can do that on it. That'd be and then imagine a ball hits him though, and the thing just falls down. That'd be
Oh, boy.
hilarious.
But
All right,
Jesse, get back to
Go
it.
ahead, Jesse.
I don't see how the Browns are going to win this
Hey,
game.
for once you can
I
see
don't think
though.
there's a way. They can't practice. Like
And
they
they had
haven't practiced
another-
the whole week.
They had another COVID test today too. For their
Yeah.
starting safety. I forget the name. Rodney, not Harrison. I don't know.
Ronnie Harrison, he is
Yeah.
out. Yep.
At least
Yeah.
this week, Jesse, you can't complain
Yeah.
about Mike Tomlin being outcoached because he physically can't be.
Can't be.
Physically can't be.
Yeah, unless
No, I mean
unless the same thing with the Steelers. If they're just if they have catastrophic meltdown, like if Ben just throws 4 picks and just looks utterly terrible, they can't get the run game going with Connor, then maybe the Browns could pull one out. But I feel so bad for the Browns. 17 years.
I
no
don't
playoffs.
see it.
This
Ben
is-
doesn't do that against Cleveland.
Yeah, it's the one team that he actually like.
Ben's lost. Ben over his entire career has lost 2 games to Cleveland.
That's
He's tied
hilarious.
once. He's beaten them like 24 times.
Um,
So if there was a team to get hot against in the playoffs for the Steelers, it's the Browns. Pittsburgh 7-1 at home. I think there's going to be some fans in the stadium.
I think it's just
Not
friends
many,
and
I think,
family.
but a couple.
yeah.
Is it? It says there's
Yeah.
tickets available.
Oh,
Ooh,
I guess
fun.
some friends and family don't want to
Interesting.
go.
It says you can buy tickets for as low as $500.
Jesus Christ.
It's a low price.
All right. So what I got from this game is that the Browns will be motivated first of all, just because
Playoff.
the
and
playoff game,
Cleveland.
and they haven't had a playoff game.
God, if the
17,
Browns
18
win
years.
this game, Cleveland will be on fire.
It will be.
Yeah.
It'll look like
It is a divisional opponent against the Steelers too, but it's very hard to beat a good team back to back. And the Browns barely pulled it off, like Jesse said, against the JV squad. Even though they did win, but I don't think you beat a good team like the Steelers back to back weeks like that. And the Steelers
Well,
just
and the
have
thing
all
is,
the right
the
pieces.
Browns had to win that game. Like the Browns had to show their hand because they needed to win that game. And the Steelers could really just sit back and watch what the Browns were doing and then pretty much game plan all week to counteract it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Browns can't practice. So even if they wanted to come up with some new things that the Steelers wouldn't see coming, they can't practice those things. They can only talk about those things.
Yeah, in closing for me, finally, Browns make it to the playoffs. And I think if they had normal circumstances, normal week to prep, they would give them more of a game. But I think ultimately it's going to be the Steelers.
Me too. My final pick's the Steelers too.
Norms.
Yeah. I think the safest bet this week, parlay the Steelers and Seahawks. Push it through. That's what I would do.
Words of wisdom from Jesse.
I think
And
those
with
are
that-
2 safe locks.
And with that, that's our picks for Super Duper Wildcard Wednesday. So Clark, where can people listen to it and watch it?
Wildcard Wednesday. It's Saturday and Sunday, not Wednesday.
Whatever, weekend, wild, whatever.
Wildcard Wednesday.
Thinking of Madden, and the lack thereof.
Hey, with the you're right, it is Madden. Thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Sports Department podcast. Did that on the other one too. Dang it, I'm not
Oof.
used to saying it yet.
Idiot.
Sports Department podcast. Us three appreciate you guys listening, and so do Joe and Steve, who will do other podcasts with us as well. Make sure you guys are subscribed so you never miss an episode on YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. Follow us on our social medias on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram at Sports Depth Pod, I think it is now.
Links are down below, so just click those.
I think you got to change the links just because they don't, because it's a different username now.
Might want to do that.
Sports Depth Pod, I think it is. So
I'll
it's
get
Sports DEPT Pod. Make sure you guys follow us. Yes, it is Sports Depth Pod. Make sure you guys follow us on that stuff. I know there's a hockey episode that was recorded that's coming out soon. We just did a basketball episode that's going to be out pretty soon as well. A
It's live
wrestling
now.
recap. Huh?
It's up now. I just pushed
What?
it through. The NBA one.
Oh, it is. It's up. Watch it. Listen to it. That's up. We just did this one. There will be a wild card weekend reaction, a wrestling recap coming, and probably a baseball one pretty soon too, because of my boy Lindor coming to New York. So I'm very happy about that. But make sure you guys stay tuned to all that fun stuff, and we'll see you in the next episode.